Welcome to the Paul Chandler Show, everyone. I'm your host, Paul Chandler. In tonight's episode, we're going to discuss what does it actually mean to be a medical coder. Because if you tell someone that, hey, I'm looking at getting into coding or I'm interested in getting into coding, a lot of times people will think computer coding, which is not the same as medical coding. So when we come back, we're going to be going through all the ins and outs of what is a medical coder. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight's episode, I'm going to be talking about what a medical coder actually is. So I'm sure you've been to the doctor's office before, either having an office visit done, maybe a procedure done in the doctor's office as well. Well, when the doctor sees the patient or the nurse, they go what I call typey in the computer. I'm sure you've seen it before. They ask you all these questions and they're keying things in or maybe going clicking away as far as some boxes. Well, what a medical coder needs to do is simply they do translations. So after the doctor goes typey into the computer, we call that an EMR, electronic medical record, or an EHR, electronic health record, all depending on what format it is. The doctor or nurses, they go to typey while they're seeing the patient, and then they do what we call signing off, and then they close off on that visit, and they close off the record, so the documentation cannot be changed anymore. At that point then the coder, they look at the documentation, and they need to translate all the different paragraphs that we have into a series of codes that go on the insurance claim form for reimbursement. So that's what a medical coder is. They do translations. Now on the outpatient side, because there's outpatient and inpatient. Outpatient is when the patient goes to the doctor's office, or they may have a procedure done in an outpatient hospital facility, as in they go to a hospital property, but they have a procedure done and then they leave. They're in and out same day. Some people may call it like a same day surgery. Then we have on the inpatient side, that's when you're admitted into the hospital for a night, 2 nights, however long it is, and you're most likely there for a more serious condition. So for example, the medical coder on the outpatient side, we primarily use 3 books, 3 coding manuals. And the first one is what we call the CPT book, or Current Procedural Terminology. This is the What Do We Do book. This explains what the doctor did during the office visit and any types of procedures that the doctor did as well. So we use this book to explain what the doctor and what the nurse actually did. And then we also use a second book called ICD-10-CM. ICD as in the International Classification of Diseases, and the 10 meaning this is the 10th revision of it. And this is the Why Are We Doing It book, as in what medical condition does the patient have that warrants the doctor visit or warrants this procedure being done. And then our third manual that we use not that often is what we call the HIPAA book, the Healthcare Common Procedure Coding System. I like to call this book the junk drawer in the kitchen book, because essentially, if there's not a spot for it in the CPT book, it's going to go in the HIPAA book here. So using the 3 coding manuals, and the thing is though, this being 2020, there's also several online programs and different programs that you can use to be able to do the coding assistance as well. So no matter if you have the good old-fashioned coding paper manuals or an online coding program, what the insurance carrier needs to have is codes on a claim form, because they're not going to look through all the documentation unless it warrants maybe a possible review. So what the medical coder does, they take all of the documentation. So let's say if you go to the doctor's office, if we were to print out the full office visit, that may be a full page of documentation. As far as procedures, as in what the doctor did, that can translate into a simple 5-character code. Let's say a 99213. Which, side note, is the most commonly used code in the CPT book here. So if you win at Jeopardy, hey, you got something. But if not though, the code here itself, all the codes are 5 characters. You can have a surgical note. It can be a 1.5-page, 2-page surgical procedure. That may just be 1 or 2 different 5-character codes that go on a claim form. Because that's all the insurance carriers want to see for reimbursement. The code for the procedure, what was done, or the office level, and then any diagnosis codes. Now I will say this, if you notice the diagnosis book, no matter who the publisher is, very, very small size font. And it does seem like to me that the font gets smaller and smaller every year. I've been in healthcare, it's my 14th year now, and these suckers are about a year and a half old. So it does seem like the fonts get smaller and smaller every year. It's just not. Your eyes are just probably straining because looking at these codes all the time. But with the diagnosis book though, and that's what we're coding as far as what conditions the patient has. And in the HIPAA book, this is where, again, I call it the junk drawer in the kitchen. This is where if the patient was sent to the hospital by ambulance, there's the codes in here for that. Medical supplies that the doctor's office use. DME, durable medical equipment. For example, your wheelchairs, your canes, your crutches, your prosthetics. Drugs that are administered to the patient while they're in the office. Then we have those codes set here. And different insurance carriers also like their own sets of codes. For example, Medicare, they love what we call the G codes, because again, it's 5 characters, but G is the first character of that 5 character set that we have. So that's the main thing. So remembering though that medical coding, it's not easy, it's not hard, just as long as you have the proper education. So with medical coding, we're taking the documentation, no matter if it's an office visit, or if you're inside the hospital, if you're inpatient and the doctor sees you at your bedside, or a surgical procedure, and then simply just translating it into a new language called medical coding. And if you have any other further questions on medical coding, then please reach out to me at thepaulchandlershow.com, or you can also visit our education organization, Ohana Coding. And for medical coding credentials to further your growth in your career, then visit specialtycoder.com. I do thank you for watching this episode of The Paul Chandler Show, and have an awesome rest of your day.